If you've been thinking about starting a YouTube channel, but you haven't started yet, ask yourself, why? Why haven't you started? What's holding you back? Now, I've written down, I think, 5, maybe 6 different reasons why people don't start a YouTube channel, even though they really want to. And I'm going to try and cover those off and give you some encouragement that actually you can start a YouTube channel. Whether you'll have great success or not, I can't guarantee that. And you know what? None of the gurus that say, watch this video and you'll get 1,000 views, or how to get your first 1,000 subscribers, or 4,000 hours of view time, because you know what? They're just spouting the same nonsense that all the other gurus are spouting. There's no hidden hacks to it. There's no secrets to it. Yes, there are things you can tweak to improve your chances, but there's no guarantees. One guarantee is, if you don't start, you won't succeed. And that's the thing. And if that's what's holding you back, the fear of not succeeding, then you'll never start anything. You've got to start somewhere. And the other thing you've got to remember, when you start YouTube, the algorithm and your audience, your eventual audience, they don't know who you are. They haven't found you yet. And until you put your videos out, they'll never find you. So yeah, you've got to start and treat your first videos as just rough cuts, just kind of. I mean, don't put any nonsense out. I know that's what I seem to do. I just record a video and then I put it out. But I'm doing this also to improve my skill of talking to the camera and then uploading that to YouTube, and just hopefully trying to, from my experience and my journey through this, encourage other people. So with that said, let's get down to the next item, and that's the time to take to do YouTube. And lots of people think, I haven't got time to do all that. Set up cameras, set up lighting, all that stuff. And you know what? I'm using natural light. I'm standing, you can clearly see, I'm standing in my kitchen. I have an action cam that's on a very tall tripod, and I've got a wireless mic, and I've hit record. Now, I could be using this with a mobile phone. I could be sat at the table, mobile phone propped up with some books, not use a mic. The audio wouldn't be quite as good, but I could do it without a mic. And everybody's got a mobile phone. And as soon as you've recorded your piece, you can just, you can just upload that straight to YouTube, or you can edit it using software. And there's tons of free software out there. Most of my videos I mentioned, I use VN Editor because I find that easy. And I can use it on the phone because I do everything on the phone. All my editing is done on the phone. Obviously not the filming because I've got an action cam, but everything else is done on the phone. I don't use a laptop for editing. Probably tell because I don't do much editing. And that leads me to the second point is people think, I can't start because I need all the equipment. I need a fancy light setup. I need a fancy camera. Like I say, I have got an action cam, but use a phone. Use books to prop it up, or if you need to make it taller, put a few more books underneath. A shoebox. There's always a way. If you want to do something, you will find a way of doing it. And it's just don't let a lack of equipment hold you back. Now, if you need equipment for the thing you want to video, that's a different story. I mean, obviously, if you want to do tech reviews and things like that, you've got to go and buy that stuff. No one's giving you this stuff for free, not when you're just starting out. And so kind of sort of try and think, what do you want to make your videos about? Have you got that stuff? And if you need to just film it, holding your phone or your camera, sort of film it, then turn it to your face to do your talking bit, whatever, so just try and make it work, and don't let that hold you back, because like I say, your first few videos will be, they'll be rough, and it's a learning process, and those videos are all about learning. And I tell you, a lot of this loops back around to that early videos. It's about learning. It's about building yourself up, building your confidence in doing this, and learning the process of actually creating the YouTube videos. So the next thing I've got is not feeling ready. Now, nobody feels ready unless you're coming at this from a background of public speaking or already sort of like being sort of in front of a camera. You're probably not going to feel ready, and you'll feel like who am I to tell you what to do? And you're probably watching this thinking, you're seeing the same thing. Who am I to tell you what to do? But the thing is, I'm just in your shoes. I'm just that slight bit ahead maybe where I'm actually making the videos. Or maybe you've made videos and you're watching this just for reinforcement that other people are in the same boat as you. And that's the point of these videos, is to say that you can start with 0 subs, you can start with 0 views, and you can grow a channel. It just takes time. And even the biggest names on YouTube will say that you need to, before you really start to grow, you need to sort of put in a year, 2 years, 5 years, so it can take a long time to build an audience, But once you've got that momentum, once you get into the process of going, right, on a whatever time you have, let's say Monday evening is when you want to make your video, you go, right, Monday evening I record my video, Tuesday evening I edit my video, Wednesday evening I put my video out. You can create a work stream like that. I mean, you might be sort of like a person that can go, right, I record a video, edit the video, and I can do it all in the space of a couple of hours. If you get to that point, wow, that's amazing. But it's all about building a process and building it into and around your life at the moment, because at the moment, YouTube, your first few videos are probably not going to, bring in the money where you'll be going, right, okay, quit the day job and all that sort of stuff. That's probably not going to happen, and you shouldn't put that sort of pressure on yourself, because, if you put too much pressure on yourself to succeed at this one thing, if you go, right, YouTube and social media, that's going to be my ticket out of whatever, you need a reality check, really, because it's a lot of work, and it's a lot of people not watching your videos, and you scratching your head going, well, how comes this person's put out almost the same video as me and they've got 10 times the views, 100 times the views? But the other thing you got to realize is that person, they might have been at this game for like 2, 3, 4, 5 years more than you, so they're ahead of the game. You can't, and even people that maybe start after you that sort of have success, you can't look at that and go, oh, well, hang on, what happened to mine? You've got to look at their content and say, why is theirs better? Sort of like, is it because they're using better thumbnails? Is it the way they present the video, the way they the titles they use, things like that, descriptions, and how you interact with your community, sort of like the people that post on your videos, that all helps, sort of to build up your YouTube skill library. Right, the next thing I have is feeling embarrassed, and I get this. It's embarrassing to stand in front of a camera and just talk, and sort of like, if I'm doing this, everybody's out. Because I would feel embarrassed if people were walking in and out, and I'm not one of those people that can go around with the camera and talk to the camera whilst sort of people are around there. But it's all about overcoming that, and sort of eventually you might get to that point. But don't think, oh, sort of, what if someone sees this, or what if someone goes, looks at me and says, oh, I don't like the look of that person. Well, they won't watch your video, and you know what, you're probably never going to meet that person, so it doesn't matter. Because you're not making the video for the people that are going to judge you. You're making the video to educate or entertain or just share some knowledge. Okay, that'll be educate. But you know what I mean. You're not making the video for for those judgmental people. You're making the video for your purposes. You're making it for your self-esteem. You're making it so that you can grow as a person. This is your creative outlet. And that's the way you got to see YouTube sometimes. It's a creative outlet. It's a hobby. It's a hobby that might eventually turn into a job, but treat it as a hobby, and don't worry about what people think, because they've got their things that they do, and they're probably more worried about themselves. And if people make comments on your video about you or your content, just brush it aside. I know it's hard, and I've had it on other videos I've had where people have sort of commented on my videos and they said, your videos are boring, and I just said, thank you for watching. Because you know what? You've interacted with my video, and that interaction tells the algorithm that people watch your video. So actually, this will sound weird, but negativity in the comments, in a way, can be a good thing. And and if someone says that was rubbish, or they say, I had one that says your video is boring, and you say, well, how can I make it not boring? What can I do? Can I up the tempo? Can I change the way I edit the video, sort of things like that. But don't take it to heart, because these people probably, sort of their own insecurities, and they're keyboard warriors, and you're probably never going to meet them. So let's move on to the next one, and that is being afraid to fail. Now, I think I've probably covered this one earlier on, being afraid to fail. And that's that kind of fear of going, well, what if no one watches? What if no one subscribes? And again, as I said earlier on, if you think like that, you'll never start. And it's been like any business venture. Talking business ventures, you look at most successful business people, other than people that have inherited businesses, a lot of people that have started businesses, the ones that sort of like become successful aren't necessarily the first business they start. Because what they'll do is they'll start a business, it will fail, they'll learn from that mistake, they'll start another one, it might fail, or, and it's about building and building on your failures, for want of a better phrase. It's like, you find out what works, what doesn't work, and you incorporate that. So don't be afraid to fail. In fact, you should almost embrace that failure, because that failure shows you what you've done wrong and what you need to change to then succeed the next time. And I say, if you're constantly afraid that, well, if I start YouTube, if I put a video out and it only gets 2 views, then I'm a failure. Well, no, because unless both of those views are you or a family member, if those 2 views are random people, then you've succeeded. Even if just one person watches your video and they give it a thumbs up and they say, okay, I like that video, 1 subscriber. Each subscriber is a success. And I think you should always remember that. It doesn't matter how many subscribers you get, each one is a success. Each view is a success, because that's what you're in this for. You're in this to, to share. I'd like to think that. I mean, it's not all about sort of making money. I mean, that would be nice, once you get to the point where you can, make money off YouTube, that'd be great. But, you start with your initial intention and stay true to that. If you want to educate, if you want to entertain, sort of like stick to that. And as long as you're improving each time, you're not a failure, and you're growing. And you can grow in your confidence. You can grow in your ability to talk to the camera. You can grow in your ability to do whatever it is you're making your videos about. And that is true success. It's not about the subscribers. It's not about the video. True success is going, I want to give this a go, and I'm going to try. And set yourself a target. Set yourself multiple targets. That's the other thing I've learned is go, right. For me personally, I'm like, I want to get a channel to 1,000 subscribers, 4,000 watch hours, and be able to monetize. That's my plan. Now, that's the overall goal, but inside of that, I've got plans. So my plan is to make a video each week. My plan is to, reply to as many comments as I can on each video I get. It's little things like that. And then as you achieve these goals, you then make more goals. So, once you get to 1,000 subscribers, 4,000 watch hours, say, right, I want to get to 10,000 subscribers. Don't set yourself like the sky, oh, I've got to have 1 million subscribers, and I've got to be living in a mansion, and I've got to drive a Ferrari, or whatever your car of choice is. Those lofty goals are crazy. And when I was thinking the other day about when people say they manifest their destiny. I think it was a few years ago, I think Dua Lipa headlined at Glastonbury, and she said, I manifested this because I wrote it down on a bit of paper and I stuck it on my fridge. I'm going to headline Glastonbury. Now, the fact that she wrote down, I'm going to headline Glastonbury on the fridge, didn't make it happen. It's all the hard work that went into that to make it happen. To make it happen. I didn't phrase that very well, but you know what I mean? It's that kind of like, if all you do is write down on a bit of paper, start a YouTube channel and get to 1,000 subscribers, 4,000 watch hours, and just put that on a bit of paper and stick it on the fridge, that's not going to happen, is it? Only you can make your video. Only you can make it better. Only you can commit to making, more and more and more content and putting it out there. And that's what you got to do. You just got to commit to it. So let me know in the comments below, are you committed? How many videos have you made? How many views have you got? How many subscribers have you got? What are your plans? How do you see the next year, 2 years, 3 years panning out for you on YouTube? Let me know, because we're all in this together and we all want to grow together. We all want to succeed together. So, So say hi, give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video, give it a comment, you know, sort of like, if I've rambled too much, just put that down. Yeah, sort of like subscribe, that'd be always helpful. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.